Yeah.
The first rip is always the best, right?
Yeah, it's never as good the second time.
Never as good. The folks at Jinko Fishing not only bring you the Low Budget Live podcast, they also bring you all the action, like that insane rolling action the Don series of minnows has, whether it's that 3-inch little Don all the way to the 6-inch big minnow profile Don Senior. When paired with the Revolution head, you truly have a perfect minnow shaking combination that bass absolutely cannot stand. And now, if you're looking for the perfect rod to shake your minnow with, or maybe even throw a drop shot, throw a wacky worm, the Deceiver Rod Series Elite FFS rods are finally here. I got to play around with these last summer. These have a nano carbon blank. Fantastic guides. They have been perfectly matched to certain techniques. And when I tell you for under $200, this is the nicest spinning rod you will put in your hand. If you don't believe me, go try it for yourself. Use code LBL25 at jinkofishing.com. That's right, 25% off just for being a lowlifer. Go shake your minnow with this. Thank me later. Now we got to hang the banner. That Bassmaster Classic winning banner, the Express Boats X21 Pro original all-welded bass machine is what I'm running right now with a 250 Yamaha Show. Fastest hole shot in the game. More tackle storage than you can shake a stick at. And introducing the all-new XR21, which will be out there on that Elite Series this year with Lee Livesey, Caleb Summerall, and Billy Lowen running that thing all over the country. I may or may not know a guy that's fixing to get his hands on one too. Completely redesigned hull. That thing is an absolute workhorse, and you'll get to see it very, very soon. Go to a dealer near you or check out expressboats.com to find the closest dealer. Go sit in one. I promise you, you will understand why Express Boats has been building excitement since 1966.
Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night.
Every old night.
And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
I have not.
The summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time. This highway does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care.
Not even kind of. Don't care.
Headed my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Budget Live, the not so live variety from the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill here in beautiful southern Middle Tennessee. And this is the podcast presented by Jinko Fishing. Use code LBL25, jinkofishing.com to save all the cash over there on them new Elite forward-facing sonar rods and the Don Miners and whatnots. But this is the podcast for Monday, January the 19th. If you notice, I threw out one of them little, I did that with the right shoulder. And I'll be honest with you, with my right arm. And I did not think I would be able to do that this time last week, okay? I said on last week's show that I was going to see the old shoulder specialist, orthopedic surgeon. And the Triple Threat went with me there last Monday. I was on my way out of town. I stopped in, had some x-rays done. Of course, x-rays don't really show anything. And then old buddy, the doctor there, he does these mobility tests, right? Hey, let me do this. Can you push back? Can you do that? And when he gets done, I felt like I was crushing, okay? I felt like I was absolutely dialed, locked in, if you will, okay? I'm like, well, that didn't even hurt that bad. When I get finished, I'm like, well, all right, what do you think? And he said, well, you failed every test. And I'm used to failing tests in life, but this is not the kind of test I wanted to fail. He said, had you passed, I would not be thinking right now that you had a torn rotator cuff. And I was like, oh, God. Oh, gosh. And he said, we're going to get you back in for an MRI as soon as possible. So this past Friday, went back in for an MRI and an immediate consultation after to see kind of what we were looking at. And thank goodness He walks in the room and says, I got good news. You only have a partial tear. You do not have a full tear. And I think that I can help you with some injections. I think I can help you with some physical therapy and some medicine, and maybe get you back on the right path without having to cut you open. Because let me tell you something. When they start talking about 6 to 8 to 12 weeks down, because he explained all this to me on Monday, like if we go that route, and there's other options out there in life, but if you go the surgery route, this is what we would have been looking at, and man, that's just, and so many of y'all watching, y'all have had this. I've talked to more people that've had shoulder issues in the last couple of weeks, buddies of mine, and just random folks in conversation. You start talking about like, oh yeah, I had mine worked on, my brother had his worked on, my dad, my mom, my papa, and it sucks. It's a really bad surgery. Any of y'all that have had that, the recovery is brutal. Marissa's had it done before, so she's like, yeah, I'm not living with you if you have that done, because it's not going to be good. You're going to be a big old baby. So thank God. And so many of y'all made a post showing that that's where our dates are now, is at an orthopedic surgeon, that we're at that age. And a lot of y'all reached out, man, and I appreciate that very much. But that's the news. Partial tear, not a full tear. And he thinks, maybe it'll heal. So we'll see. I tore a ligament in my foot years ago, and it required no surgery, and it healed as well. So this was back when I was about 30, though. We'll see, man. I do feel better though. He gave me an injection with a needle about yay long, and I feel a lot better, man. I was getting to the point I couldn't pick stuff up, really hurting. So we'll see. I can do those about every 3 months, and we'll go from there. But no surgery in the future for this low lifer, and that's a damn good thing. Speaking of good things, the Alabama Bass Trail kicked off this weekend for 2026 ABT 100. Had two young men, Trace Antunes and Dalen Milam from the University of Montevallo, won that sucker, took home $33,000. $33,000 for a Saturday of fishing. They had won a Bassmaster College event there last spring in February, last winter, and new to the ABT, new faces, and absolutely caught the crap out of them. But it was great seeing everybody, man. So many friends. Got to see some faces I hadn't seen in a long time that are fishing the ABT 100s this year for the first time, and just a really, really good event. It was cold. We had a 3-hour fog delay. That sucked, and I'm still a little chilly. But it was an awesome event, and now we're back in the swing of things, man. Just running all over the place. Just such a great tournament. But one of the reason I'm kind of telling you about this is one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. So Jacob Walker, who we had, friend of the show, who we had on last week to talk about heading into his BPT rookie year, and as you listened last week, he was starting practice at Guntersville. Won his knockout round, or won the qualifying round there that qualifies you for the top 10 in BPT, buzzer beater style, okay? But the big fella absolutely poured on the gas. Super proud for him, man. Really like Jacob. And he's in that, 51-man field, one of 4 rookies. Shows up and shows out with Banks Shaw. No surprise there. We've had Banks on the show. Just absolutely setting the world on fire, finishing in the top 10 in every major event he's fished in the last year. So that's insane. But Jacob on Saturday, he had an off day. So what did he do? Was he rigging his tackle, getting ready for the final day of the BPT? No, he drove to Smith 1 hour down the road, got in the boat with his buddy, and came to fish the ABT 100. So we got to spend some time with Jacob. I'm recording this on Sunday. Got to spend some time with Jacob yesterday morning. Very, very cool to get to talk about his experience with him there, and just feel that confidence, man. The guy is fishing at just a really high level right now. So, and he did not even cross the weigh-in stage. He and his partner had a pretty good day on Smith, and then he immediately jetted back over to Guntersville to do interviews and things for MLF. So, very, very cool. And as I record this, the final day is not over there. Let me check this score tracker right here. Drew Gill put on an absolute clinic this morning in the forward-facing sonar period, which most guys have used in period 1, and Jacob was way down there, okay? Well, Jacob has started climbing up the leaderboard as I record this. He's in second. He's still 20 pounds back from Drew, but he's been doing his work without forward-facing sonar in the afternoon. So brutal cold front in this area today. Who knows? But my old buddy W sliding up there too. Wesley Strader in third. And, of course, Jacob Wheeler made the top 10. Mark Daniels Jr., Zach Burge. Been a really fun event. They've pounded them on Guntersville. And I will say, I got to watch that buzzer beater live with Jacob and Banks dueling it out. And then you had cut line drama on the qualifying round there. And that format, again, when it's locked in like that and somebody's not running off with it, dude, it's as good as anything's ever been in bass fishing. I'll say it. It is so fun to watch when it comes down to the wire like that. And kudos to Jacob for being able to edge that out. Maybe he'll get the dub today. I understand Bank Shaw today had a pretty scary deal happen. I'll let him talk about that publicly if he wants to. He had an equipment failure that resulted into maybe a little bit of a fire. So I will hope, and he's good. But I did hear that from over there, and it cost him some fishing time. I'm sure he's back on the water by now, but that happened pretty early on this final day. So kind of scary situation for Bank Shaw today, the rookie, and never want to see that without a doubt. Like very scary deal. Very scary deal. Could have been bad. But all right, BPT rolling, and something that I've truly just started kind of hearing about, and I want to talk about this and get your thoughts. You can hit me in the comments on this. And I just, when things pop up essentially out of nowhere in bass fishing, it always causes me a reason to pause. Okay. Especially when it's like, we got dancing girls and everybody's going to get, a one-way ticket to heaven or whatever. When these things pop up, it's kind of like when BPT first started, it's no entry fees and it's this and it's that. And I said on the show, that's not sustainable. How the hell is anybody doing that? Right. And we've had so many things pop up over the years, but there's a new deal. And I know several guys that are competing in this, and they still, two or three that I've talked to say, yeah, we hope the check's clear. We don't know. Everybody's kind of just confused as to what's going on, just to be honest. Even the people in the tournament, they are like cautiously optimistic, but this dual threat fishing, it's a team trail. I don't know who runs it. I don't know who's behind it. I don't know who's sponsoring it. I don't know who designed the logo, but it needs work. Sorry. It's not good, I don't think. But anyways, I don't know where this thing, it's a pro team trail, which I think is a great idea. I've said that on the show many, many times. I think it's something worth watching for sure. But the word on the street is, this week that they're giving everybody their money back, and everybody's going to fish for free this week, and $100,000 first place prize or something, and everybody gets a check for showing up, and it's only like 50 or 60 teams, and I don't know how you do that. I don't know. Hey, bass fishing needs no entry fee. If you figured it out, Mr. Dual Threat, that is awesome. I hope you did. But I'm a skeptic at heart, because much like BPT, who had Stan Kroenke money attached to this, and the most powerful names in bass fishing, essentially, from Kevin Van Dam to Skeet Reese to Edwin Evers and Jordan Lee, Gerald Swindle, Jason Christie, Brandon Pollock, they had the lion's share of the stars of bass fishing go that route. And they did the no entry fee thing for 1 year. And then they're like, hey guys, this isn't sustainable. So I'm just confused. And listen, if you got that kind of cash to throw out there, kudos to you. And God bless you for taking care of bass fishermen, but I don't understand what you get out of it. And I don't know what the ROI is on that at all. That doesn't seem like a very good business model, to hand out money and just hand out money. It seems like a charity. That's kind of an odd thing, but there were entry fees. There were entry fees when this started. And from what I've been told this week, and again, dude, I've not heard many people talk about this at all. And then I looked it up on social media, and a fella that they got giving you the details is arguably the biggest goober that's ever existed in the sport, around the sport, that is just, I don't know, man. He'll talk bad about people on the internet, and then he'll text them, begging them to come make a video with him. He's a very very timid little fella in real life, and blows people up via DMs and text messages. I get screenshots all the time, and I've personally had these too. He will publicly say he disagrees with me, and then sends me texts telling me that the industry needs more people like me. He is definitely not someone I would want to be the face of anything I had going on, but it would make sense if it's just something where people are just handing money out, and nobody can trace where anything comes from and how it's ever going to be sustainable or work, that this gentleman would be associated in some kind of way, because he just wants to, listen, bless his little heart, he just wants to be associated with something in fishing. So maybe he's got that. But yeah, the whole thing's just kind of convoluted, crazy, and I look forward to talking to my buds that are down there at Okeechobee fishing it, man. And like I said, this doesn't come from a place of I hope it doesn't succeed. Fishing needs it. Fishing needs it. We our numbers are down, right? And not that this does not have raging numbers by any stretch. It was a very expensive entry fee until they were like, here's your money back. You're fishing for free. Again, confusion, unless Elon Musk is running it. But numbers are down, other than the Alabama Bass Trail, which sold out in less than 4 minutes this year, 2 divisions, and the ABT 100 sold out very quickly. It's impressive what Ms. K's been able to do. But you look at BFL numbers in the first couple tournaments this year with the new rule changes, which I really did think would help get some people back. You know, you can only use forward-facing sonar for a third of the day. Some of the people that are very against forward-facing sonar, I thought would show back up. But man, the numbers from Lake Martin, the Bama division, which was one of the biggest divisions always when I was growing up, coming up and fishing, had I believe, 87 to 90 boats, something like that. The first Rayburn BFL was definitely not one of those 200, 250 boat tournaments that we used to see. So I don't know, man. We need a shot in the arm in this industry, whatever that is. But so I'm not hating on the idea of this at all. I have questions. This thing, just like when anything pops up out of nowhere. I said it the other day about shady business partners that I had in my life a couple years back. Gerald Swindle said it best. If it gets in your lap, if it looks good and it just sits in your lap, starts rubbing on you, man, you're the best. You're the best. I'm going to do all these things for you. He said, push that damn thing in the floor, because it ain't supposed to be that easy. And it's true. It's true. So we'll see. It's supposed to be a 6-tournament slate. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, they got some big names fishing. They've got some great guys, some good friends of mine. Hell, some of them fish the ABT and we're rolling straight to Okeechobee. So we shall see. Hope the check's clear and hope they can keep it rolling. That's for sure. Just be careful who you associate with. I would say that. That is for sure. All right. We got a great guest today that I'm very fired up about. And let me say this before we get into a guest. I'm very proud that in the going into 9 years of this show, that I am fortunate and very blessed that when I reach out to someone like this guest, that they do this show. And I have never had to beg, and I've never sent multiple texts like a panicked 8th grade girlfriend. Like somebody's texting my kids about, oh, do you still like me? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Over and over and over to people to try to get them to interact with me. I'm very fortunate that I don't have to do that like some people on YouTube do, or go to great lengths like, try to cause drama for people behind the scenes, like some people on YouTube do. I'm very fortunate in that, man. So I just want to say that. Yeah, I woke up with a little piss and vinegar today over a couple things, but yeah, I'm very fortunate. So I've not had this fella on in a while, and was driving back from Arkansas this week. I was like, who I want to talk to this week about just everything going on in the sport of bass fishing? Feider, man, the amazing Feider, man, Seth Feider. All right, as promised, here he is, the one and only fighter man, Seth Feider. And Seth, I'm happy to announce that I am recording this. You had to bring that up immediately, but a couple years back, we did one of these that was great, and I did not hit record.
Yeah, I figured I'd just remind you just to make sure we don't want to repeat our mistakes, you know.
Yeah, I remember that. We ended up going back and doing another one, but the one we did, you know, the first rip is always the best, right?
Yeah, it's never as good the second time.
Never is good, dude. Well, man, I appreciate you coming back on and headed into yet another season on the Bassmaster Elite Series. Got some changes this year. Are you excited about the changes? The coin flip, the no scope tournaments?
Yes and no. I wish they'd kind of just do something for the whole year. You know, I don't really want, like, a lot of our tournaments are back to back. So, I mean, not that it's that hard to rig a scope on your boat and take it off, but I'd just rather put it on once or take it off once and not have to mess with it instead of every Sunday night be re-rigging a boat, getting ready for practice the next morning.
Yeah, I think, you know, for fans' sake, I think one way or the other is probably the best as far as like keeping up with the sport. You know, we got BPT, MLF doing all their things all the way down through the BFL. You got MPFL, it just says no. And then now the coin flip. I'm looking forward to some of the events without it, I guess, you know, just to see when y'all go to Champlain. I know you're probably looking forward to that one a little bit.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes, you know, because like usually when I go to Champlain, I'm mostly largemouth fishing anyways, and you know, grass fishing, you don't need scope. But at the same time, that, you know, when you go to Champlain, 90% of your field goes out in the basin, so I get pretty much left alone where I'm fishing. And now I think obviously all 100 of us are going to be on the bank, you know, flipping grass and boat docks and all that stuff. So I don't know how it'll all play out, but yeah, I really am looking forward to that one.
That's a really good point, because once you take that tool away from a lot of anglers and that option, because there's no way to really fish for those fish in the abyss without it, you know, that will be interesting. I've kind of got those circled, you know, to pay attention to.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Guntersville, man. You know,
me too.
How close have you watched the BPT this week? Are you taking a peek at it? Do you even care? You're like, hey, I want to go in and find my own deal. Do you pay attention?
Yeah, I have watched a little bit. It's been interesting. I was actually there pre-practicing and just side scanned for like 3 days, and then got pretty disappointed when I watched, just because I know everyone else is watching. You know what I mean? Like I found a lot of those areas those guys are catching them out of, and then, you know, for someone to just sit there and watch their screen for 10 minutes and be able to, you know what I mean? Like a couple of areas I found that I thought were really good, or they got exploited in that tournament. And I know, you know, 10 boats from our deal are going to start there the first day of practice because what they got to see, you know.
That's a really good point, man. With all the resources we've got out there now, it makes it harder to get an advantage at all. But yeah, I figure they've got at least 100 Elite Series anglers have watched that pretty close.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They got a bump this week.
Yeah, or not to, especially that time of year. Not much is going to change unless we get, you know, a ton of rain or something crazy happens. Those areas will probably produce for our tournament as well.
No doubt about it, man. It's going to be. I'm looking forward to that one though. Guntersville's kicking them out. I've watched a lot of that this week. I was on the road, had the phone propped up, and watching them duke it out over there, and it just amazes me, man, because we had brutal cold this week.
Yeah,
what the Tennessee River can produce sometimes. I'm I would not want to go out there when it's as cold as it was a couple of those days, and that lake just kicks them out. So definitely looking forward to seeing you guys there. So were you one of the ones? I mean, would you like to see it go away, forward facing sonar, or you just kind of?
No, I think I'd rather see it stay at this point. It's not as you know, like a few years ago, it was you couldn't compete without it. You know what I mean? Now those fish are getting so much pressure; they're getting so hard to catch. You know, the bank's kind of coming back now. But still a lot of those guys are going to continue to do that. So it really, like the last couple of years, I've really been able to, for the most part, fish by myself. You know, it's not like if we go to a St. Clair or something like that, obviously I'm scoping the whole time. But a lot of these other places where it's kind of, you could do either one, I've kind of been left alone for the most part. So I haven't had to deal with any crowding or anything like that, or fishing, areas that are getting pounded. And like I said, those fish are getting a lot harder to catch out there. A couple of years from now, a few years ago, they're catching everyone they throw at. Now you're getting to the point where you're getting denied way more than you're catching. And, a few years from now, that's going to be like, with the exception of some tricky little bait coming out or something, those fish are going to get so hard to catch that I think you'll be able to win and compete without it.
I agree with that, man. I've seen that just personally on a couple small lakes I fish. I was one of the probably the first person that had live scope several years ago on this lake, and now there are a lot of people. This one in particular, a lot of people out there, dude. It is it's interesting to see how they react now to certain things, certain days. You can watch when there are several boats on these lakes, how the fish, they'll sink to the bottom more. Yeah. And I'm with you. In a couple of years, I think those fish get a lot harder to catch, and unless there's some new little widget that comes out from Japan, because that's inevitably, I feel like, where it'll have to come from, because they're the masters at figuring out how to make tough fish actually commit to a bait over there. It seems like.
I think they just come up with so much crazy stuff that it's just, the majority of the stuff that comes out of there isn't that great. It all looks cool, but realistically 1 out of 10 or 20 are like good fish catching baits, but they're just making stuff that nobody's thought of before, so that's where you see like the good innovation come out of there. But at the same time, 90% of that crazy looking stuff they make doesn't work. It's just something a fish hasn't seen before,
No doubt about it. Did you ever think that we would, you're a flipper, you're up there throwing a tube around, you love to throw your jig. Did you ever think we would get to a place where we're throwing like these space balls?
No, I still can't wrap my head around what they think that is. But I hear people say some stuff about, they're used to eating that when they're fried. And I'm like, I don't know, man.
I had 2 different guys on the MPFL last year explain that theory to me. And I'm like, did you have a conversation with them? Did they explain that to you? That, I thought this took me back to my childhood. Damn break. Sometimes I think we get carried away with our theories. Like if I watch one eat a gizzard shad, I'm like, hell yeah, that's why he's eating slide bait. I get that. Yeah. I can put 2 and 2 together, but the Japanese space ball, no, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I can't get down with the plankton or whatever.
Yeah, it definitely works. I still don't know what they think it is.
No doubt they bite it. I just I don't know why. And maybe these guys are right. Maybe it is zooplankton or whatever. I've been told all kind of craziness. Let's just be honest. Some days fish don't want to bite. They don't like us as much as we like them. So you need to give yourself an advantage. So why not slather up your soft plastics in some bait fuel by American Bait Works? Put it in a bag of your favorite plastics, let it marinate. It's going to create a scent cloud that should get you extra bites out there on the water. We live in a world where fishing pressure is at an all-time high. Technology is the best we've ever seen it in our lifetimes, and lures are amazing, lifelike. Tricking a bass can be hard sometimes. Put the odds in your favor. Designed in a lab and proven on the water over and over. Bait fuel. The folks at Pro Guide Batteries have been in this battery game for over 30 years. Trust people that know the battery world. They're not just some fly-by-night company. They've got you covered, whether it's their lead acid, their AGMs, or their new Alpha Series lithium line, and not to mention their new amazing chargers. I've been running them in the Express now for, I believe this is the 4th year I've been running Pro Guide Batteries. No issues. Could not be more blown away by their product line and the people behind it. You can use code LBL10 at ProGuideBatteries.com to tell them you're a lowlifer and find out for yourself what Pro Guide is all about. And last but not least this week, what's up, old boy? Get on over to oldboy.com, Old Boy Outfitters, and check out everything they have to offer, from their game day hats, some of the finest hats in the game. They've got everything to let people know you are an old boy that likes being outdoors, whether it's hunting and fishing. You can rep your style Rep your passions, oldboyoutfitters.com. Use code oldboyluke, oldboy Luke at checkout to let them know you are a low lifer. What's up, old boy? Oh, dude, I really, you know, I wanted to ask you this. Looking back, you've made 6 classics. You won Angler of the Year in 2021, and you've just done it your way. You know, you're coming off of another top 20 in the Angler of the Year race last year. How would you rate it these days as far as how hard it is at that top level? It's always been very difficult. You had a rocky road in the beginning. I remember you were right on the bubble for requalifying that famous like lacrosse tournament. You kind of burst onto the scene really back years ago, but you've been very consistent. In fact, I remember Justin Atkins was here doing a show in studio a couple years ago, and he was talking about requalifying and the cut line, and he went over the career average, and you were the leader in the career average. And I'm like, dude, that just speaks to the consistency that you've had. But how hard is it on a scale of 1 to 10 now to compete on the Elite Series?
I would say a 10, but I think 2 years from now it's going to be even harder. So I don't maybe a 9, I guess. But like when I first came in, I was so green to everything. You know, I really hadn't traveled the country, and you know, I was fishing against Kevin Van Dam and all the big names that I grew up watching and stuff like that. But looking back, like that was like a cakewalk compared to what it is now. Like there's a lot of big names, but like if I was the fisherman I am now back in like 2016, 2015, when I started, like I'd have never missed a check ever. Like,
no kidding.
Yeah. Like now it's like, because before you just had to catch them to get a check. You know what I mean?
True.
Now you can catch their ass and finish 70th. You know what I mean? Because everybody catches them. Like the weights have changed, the skill levels changed. I mean, the last few years, those kids coming up are just like, you know, when I started out, like rookies were kind of like, if you made a top 10 or something, that was crazy. Like
everybody got
you did something, you know, and like. Now these kids coming, you know, they do the college deal, then jump in the opens and mow everybody down, especially since they went to, you know, when I qualified through opens, you had to fish 3 tournaments to get in
a regional type division.
Yeah.
Like a quarter.
So, well, you know, and on an average year, you know, you were getting maybe 3 really good rookies, a few that might make it, might not make it, depending on how the break they catch. And then 3 that had, you know, 3 or 4 that had no business being there. They do their 2 years and they were gone. And now you're getting 10 like legit hammers, like not missing. Like these kids are coming in, they're getting paid every time, making top 10s, winning tournaments. And you do that, you know, we've already had that happen for 3 years now. So that's already 30% of the field. You let that happen another 2 years, that's half your field. Plus, you know, the guys that were right there doing well. You're going to get to the point where there's just no fat to trim. I mean, the guys you're going to see get cut in the next couple of years, they're going to blow your mind. You know what I mean? They're going to be, you know, guys that are making the classic every other year, and, you know, guys that have had awesome careers and catch them almost every time, and they're going to end up going home. Household names potentially.
Yeah. From the top level sport. You know, I agree with you there. And it is interesting to think about those days. You said it best. When you first made it to that level, you had not traveled the country much. You made it through the Northern Opens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we saw that, like, you would get regional just hammers that would make the elites in 3 events. They knew those bodies of water well. They were experts. And then, like you said, some would make it through, some wouldn't. And that's a great perspective. That the last 3 years you've got, you know, 30% of the elites are just absolute robots.
Yeah. Guys that they're never going to get cut. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it'll look like 10 years from now, but I think you're going to end up seeing, you know, really good guys just getting cut every single year, just because, I mean, there's only 100 of us. So
yeah. And
10 got to go every year.
Yeah. You've got to perform. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to perform whatever that expectation is. You've got to hit it. And I've got bad news for anybody that doesn't agree with Seth and doesn't think it's going to get harder. I'm fortunate to work things like the Alabama Bass Trail. And let me tell you something, buddy, there are a lot more of them coming that you've never heard of, that are just starting out in college. We had 2 yesterday, the first ABT 100 of the year. 2 young men that are sophomores at the University of Montevallo beat a field that was as stacked as you could get on 33 grand.
Yeah.
I had never really didn't know them. Nobody in the event knew them that well. They had won a Bassmaster College event there last year as well. I did not know that until on stage yesterday, but there's so many, man. And like I've talked about this on the show a couple of times, but I went down to the University of Montevallo. A young man there, Cash Olson, is running my Express from last year. He bought my Express, and I went down there, and I think they got like 60-something kids on that bass fishing team. And I know for you and I, that didn't really exist that much. You know, I'm older than you, but that damn sure didn't exist when I was around.
Yeah.
Not in the
it wasn't
least.
an option. I mean, about the time I started fishing the opens is when that got going. And yeah, it's a different world. And then the high school stuff too. You know, these guys are getting to travel the country for minimal costs, get to see a lot of stuff. And then it seems like they build really good networks too in that stuff.
They do.
You do college for a few years. There's not going to be too many places we don't go that you don't have a little insight or intel into from one of the buddies you fished against in college.
No doubt about it. And that's half the battle sometimes is just knowing a starting place, you know, knowing where the damn boat ramp's at, knowing where you need to stay. I've said that over the years, man. One of the hardest things about fishing at the national level is when you just go somewhere you've never been and you don't know, maybe I shouldn't put in at this ramp because it's in the ghetto and I might get my shit stolen. You know, like the battle of, you know, if I come up your way, I'm going to definitely call Mr. Feider and be like, hey, what about this lake? Should I put it at this ramp? Where should I stay? I mean, and like you said, that network is huge, but man, just the travel experience, I think, is huge. Once they get to the next level, nothing shakes them. You know, you've already had those days where your motor's not working or your trolling motor, or you get a flat on the way to the ramp. You've experienced, you know, travel issues, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's only going to get harder. That's for sure. I'm glad I run my mouth about it and I'm not trying to compete anymore.
Yeah. I think those college tournaments are a lot harder than people give them credit for. You know, they're fishing giant fields, bunch of really good dudes. So, you know, they're coming fishing 200, 300, 400 boat tournaments, crowded, super heavy pressure. And then it's probably almost seems easy to them when they come to the elites. It's like, oh, only 100 boats, the whole lake's wide open, you know? So yeah, they're definitely doing their thing.
That's a really good point. I hope none of them think it's easy when they get to the Elite Series, but maybe
they look at it like it is for them. I don't know.
It can definitely seem that way. I talked to Fisher Anaya yesterday on stage. I'm like, are you getting any nerves about the Elite Series whatsoever? And he's like, no, man, it's just another bass tournament. I'm like, okay, all right, you're 20, you're 20. It'll
be a problem this year. I guarantee it. I've seen enough of him. I was watching him on Okeechobee. Some of the stuff he was doing was crazy. Like,
yes,
he'll be a problem, no doubt.
I've been fortunate in the ABTs to do the on the water coverage. I've been over his shoulder a time or two watching, and I've seen some things even when he was like 17. You're like, this dude just thinks about it a little bit different at times. And he and his dad got a win together on Guntersville, I guess, when he was 18 in the ABT. And dude, that crowd, just like the stuff you guys have up your way, I mean, it's just as competitive as it gets. Like you win in those deals, like you've done something. That's why that in 13 years, I think there's one team that's won 5 of those. You know, like there's no just pure domination because it's so damn hard. And he won at 18 years old. I mean, it's just wild to see the year he had in 2025, and can he keep it rolling over there where you guys are at, man? Dude, you know, you've always unapologetically been yourself, and it's one of the things that I've respected about you immensely, because I kind of consider myself to be the same. I've tried not to be fake in life, and we do live in a world where I feel like, especially with social media, there's a lot of fake. There's a lot of fake out there. You and I, we know some people in this industry that are a little fake that might portray one thing and online, and maybe they're not that way in real life. But has there ever been an instance where you think being authentic has hurt you in any way?
Not really. I mean, it might be a little too honest with like some of the stuff I'm doing fishing and stuff like that, but it hasn't really come back to bite me yet or nothing like that. But That'd be the only downside to it, really.
And listen, if the downside is that you're just too honest, that's okay.
Yeah.
And like, no, and I guess my question more like as far as a sponsor relationship, you know what I mean? Because I've had
yeah, I actually, yeah, I did lose one deal because of that, but that we were just never meant to be anyways. It wasn't a big one, and they were kind of a huge pain in the ass anyways. But yeah, but I don't know. They ended up letting me go for, I don't know, I said shit or something on
come on now
live or something like that, and that was their reason behind it.
I love it. This combination of letters can get you fired from a sponsor. That's amazing in life.
Yeah.
That in 20 in this day and time that can happen. Well, I think, I'm very fortunate to work with a lot of folks that believe in who I am and they're all about it. And I think that's same can be said for you. You got to find your people, right? You got to find people that get you and appreciate who Seth Feider is, man. And again, that is authentic all the way through and through. So well, keep giving us the goods on being too honest on how you're catching them, because I've learned a lot.
Yeah, well, it's just basic stuff. I'm a basic bitch. Yeah,
a basic bitch.
I am.
The split ring on the flipping hook was never basic. That one threw me for a loop the first time I saw that one.
Yeah, I guess
that was a fighter hack. That's a fighter hack, and I give you full credit for throwing out there into the world.
Yeah.
Man, we've seen a lot of craziness on the Bassmaster side of things, from the DQs, these polygraphs.
Yeah.
Are you glad the polys are tightening up?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like the problem is with those, I feel like it kind of like the guys that were trying to do the right thing are the ones going down for it. You know what I mean? Because like, I don't know anything about the science behind polygraphs, but I feel like a couple of those guys weren't really in the wrong. I feel like there's people doing blatant stuff, getting away with it. And then there's guys that, have a guilty conscience the way the rules are written. That's something, a guy told him, oh, you got to throw a white spinnerbait at the gas station. And he's like, oh, dude, I got information. And it's like he sits down in that chair and it just eats him up. And I feel like those are the guys getting caught. And then there's guys doing blatant stuff that it does, that doesn't bother them. They don't, you know what I mean? In their head, they didn't do anything wrong and they're getting away with it. So it's kind of, I don't know, double-edged sword, I guess you say.
For sure. I think there were a couple last year that are definitely that were bogus, shouldn't have happened. There were a couple that, I think we can, over the last couple of years, we can agree that were definitely legitimate. But do you think, though, at this level, we still have, I mean, if you could put a percentage on it, how many, do you think there are a lot of people being shady? I mean, like percentage wise?
I don't know if it's a large percentage, but I mean, it's a competitive sport and there's guys looking to get an edge any way they can.
Push it.
So yeah, there's definitely some stuff going on, but they changed the rules again. Now we can openly talk about stuff 28 days before, which I don't really like the whole getting information, but I just don't think you can police it for a year. So I'm kind of good with the 28-day rule, but yeah, I don't know. It makes it easier because some of them tournaments, like, they announced the schedule in August and we go to, St. Lawrence or Champlain in August. You got 12 months where you got to worry about some guy coming up to you at a gas station and telling you, hey, you got to throw a green pumpkin. It's always the stupidest stuff. It's never here's a waypoint for this brush pile that has 25 pounds living in it. It's always the most obvious stuff. Like, white spinnerbait or, blue fleck worm, like it's you know what I mean? It's never like juicy details. It's just the most basic information that everyone, it's like you're going to lacrosse, like, oh, throw a frog. Yeah. Like the entire Elite Series field has 2 tied on, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's where you put it that matters. Yeah. Going to Okeechobee and they're like, I'm just telling you, they're in the grass. You're going to want to go down there and you're going to want to fish that grass. Okay. And throw some gambler baits or something, just generic stuff. No, I get it, man. I really don't know, with that rule change, MPFL did that as well. They did that, announced that right after our championship last fall. They were going to go to a 30-day deal because they were no info as well. And it is very hard to police, like working with an organization. I mean, when stuff like that pops up, it's very difficult, but I don't know how I feel for or against, to be honest. I like the no info idea. But like you said, especially say they're coming to Mille Lacs, right? Somewhere well, you've got a ton of buddies in that neck of the woods that fish. It makes it difficult to even have any kind of conversation with a friend of yours, you know,
absolutely,
without feeling like you might be potentially, overstepping something. I was talking to one of your fellow Elite Series anglers last week, just generic conversation, and had there was another gentleman talking with us, and this guy says, "Man, that Gunnersville is something, ain't it?" And this guy doesn't even fish. He's like, "It just seems like that place is something." And your competitor there goes, "Hey, like you can't." You can't and I get it. But I'm like,
that's how you have to be.
It was such a ridiculous conversation we were having. It wasn't like, man, if you go down by blah, 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 boy, that's where it goes down. This guy had duck hunted there before. He's like, boy, there's a bunch of bass boats over there. It was that kind of conversation. But I understand, man. You've got to protect your neck these days, they say.
I just wish they'd use them instead of just like randomly giving 5 people a polygraph. Like, just save them for when the stuff comes up that we all complain about, like, oh, dude, this guy told me he gave so-and-so information, then go give so-and-so a polygraph, ask him about the conversation he had with this guy, instead of just like the most general, did you break a rule all year kind of questions. You know what I mean? They need to be specific and then, based on some form of complaint or something brought up, instead of just randomly giving them to everybody and then asking just the most general questions.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Or again, with ABT, you poly the winner, poly the top 5. You're gonna give 5 an event randomly. Give me the top 5. Ask those guys. I mean, you may have a dude in 19th that did something shady, but give me the top. I think that makes sense, because sometimes you do hear, after somebody wins an event, a couple weeks later, whispers start happening about, if there was something shady, especially if you live close to a lake, you start hearing stories, that kind of thing over the years. I would like to see that instead of the random deal for sure on that. But I mean, I think tightening up though, because we've had some dudes over the years.
No doubt. And it needed to happen. And I think a few innocent people or whatever.
Yeah.
Not super guilty people went down, but it needed to happen. I think it's got everybody. It was kind of running rampant there for a minute. I think everybody's tightened up.
There's no doubt about it. And I think if you choose to no longer be in the sport, should be a statement said about that too.
What do you mean? You hire your own polygraph guy and he says you passed?
Yeah. You're like, hey,
I paid him to pass me. Yeah.
My guy says I passed a polygraph. I'm not taking this. Not that would ever allegedly.
Yeah.
Not that would ever happen in the sport of bass fishing.
He asked all the same questions.
That I would have taken had I taken this polygraph. Listen, we could definitely make a really good Netflix reality series out of professional bass fishing in the last few years, man. And speaking of, dude, so you and I both were in the thick of it back in 2019. We'll take a little trip back, but you were one of those guys that stood your ground. I ain't leaving. I remember the famous Seth Feider post heard around the bass fishing world. That was incredible. I ain't leaving. Man, do you still, are you, obviously you're good with that decision, but do you still catch heat over that at all from any of the guys on that side of the fence, or have things died down?
I don't really talk to any of them or see them any. They never say anything to me about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think everything's kind of settled down. There doesn't seem to be the animosity there was like right when it happened, Like I lost some friends over it right when it happened.
Same.
But now them same people are, they're wishing they never left. But
it's
not as it's kind of the the dust has settled, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think it has for sure. I wanted to ask you that though, man, because I think other than myself, you were about as vocal as anybody during that time frame. Like, what the hell is going on? Why are we doing what we're doing? At risking losing friends and kind of standing up for what we believe to be right. And it has settled down. And I think some of the reason it settled is because nothing went like they were promised, and everything just kind of settled out. Everybody's where they're going to be. And that's that. I still do think that it was potentially, I think it was kind of cataclysmic for our industry in a sense though. Right. Doesn't it feel like everything changed?
Yeah, it definitely hurt our industry.
Yeah.
As far as, sponsorship dollars and stuff went, things of that nature. I don't know how much good came of it, to be honest with you, other than the fans get another series of
for sure
tournament to watch on the, our off weeks. But other than that, I don't think a lot of good came from it.
Hey, I can say another tournament trail was born out of it too, probably.
Yeah, that's true.
I got a job.
Yeah.
I can say, thank you, Boyd. Hey, Boyd, if you're watching, I know you watch every week, man. Appreciate you. Big shout out. Your rods, the guides still break on them. But I do appreciate you being a low lifer. Thank you for my job at MPFL.
Yeah.
That's one place he can't get me fired from. So is there at MPFL, man. Well, dude, I'm going to just put you on the spot. When are we going to see you on the NPFL? Because no port facing, it's shallow water.
No, I'd love to. I like everything you guys are doing. I got a crippling addiction to the wild turkey, and I don't know, all these circuits. I thought even the dual threat and the other one, it's like they all stack so heavy in that springtime period. I'd love to see one that started in June and fish through October, November, instead of the month of April and the month of May having a tournament every single week. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree.
There's a lot of summertime bass, and you could start in New York and work your way down to Florida, starting in the summer and then in the fall, and I'd be all about that. But my addiction to the wild turkey just kind of throws a wrench in all that.
Yeah, it throws a wrench in a lot for me too.
Yeah, and it's a rough time of year. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I looked at my schedule Friday night. I had not laid out all the dates for the year. I know, dragging my feet, but my wife had done it. Marissa had already done it, but I had not. I was putting all my tournaments in my phone, and truly 3 tournaments in April, 3 in May to work. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at turkey hunt, when am I going here? When am I taking my boys? That is an addiction that I've had since I was 11, though.
Yeah.
And as you well know, it doesn't go away. It only gets worse.
It does get worse. I don't know.
Yeah. I love it. Well, now
wrong with it.
And you've got kids now, man. My boys are at the age where they've been bit by the bug now too. So that just makes it that much cooler for me, because it's every experience with them's a new experience in the turkey woods. So they're all about it. And screw springtime bass fishing. Leave them. Let's leave them alone in April.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, let's leave them alone. Total sidebar. Maybe somebody listen to this low lifer wise. Speaking of turkeys, up in your neck of the woods, how are your populations? Are things?
Ours are really good.
Okay.
I think a lot of our state, we never had turkeys though. So they're newer to the area, and they seem to be going through kind of a boom. Especially the northern half of our state, down around La Crosse, I always had turkeys as far as I can remember. But you get up around Mille Lacs and north of there, 10 years ago, a turkey did not exist on that landscape. Yeah. And they've just kind of kept creeping their way north, and that northern Minnesota, that's really where I'm seeing the biggest boom in population. I don't know if it's because they're new there or what the deal is, but that place is really taken off as far as bird numbers go.
That's great to hear, man. Because right here in Middle Tennessee, where I'm at, it was Mecca when I was a kid. I mean, you couldn't drive anywhere truly in my area within 3 or 4 counties. You go out on a Saturday afternoon, and every field, it seemed like you would just see turkeys. And man, about 5-10 years ago, call it. It just really started going the other way in my general area now, but it's really starting to come back, man. It's good to see on the farm I've hunted since I was a kid. The last couple of years have been really good. We're starting to get a lot of birds back, and this past deer season, man, we had a couple big flocks on our farm, and then I'm talking to neighbors of mine that are, a mile, 2 miles down the same highway where my lease is at, and they're seeing a lot of birds too that are, not the same flock, and been comparing numbers, and I think we're on a really good swing now. But yeah, I had to ask that because so many states. I was out in Arkansas this week for work, and a lot of guys out there are talking about how it's just terrible. I hear that in Missouri. I hear a lot of states. It seems like that we're stellar turkey hunting states. Seem like it's going the other way right now.
Yeah,
for some reason. So.
Yeah, it's nice to see it come back in some places, but there's definitely, even like around my house, it was like that when I was a kid. Like you got on a spring day, like every green field had a strutter in it. Like, and you don't see that anymore. Now it's like little population clumps. There's a group here, and 5 miles this way, there's a little group that lives there, and you know what I mean. It's not like it was, but northern Minnesota, I don't know what's going on up there, but they're just booming. They're taking over up there.
You think it's something Andy Young's doing?
Might be all them grouse he's shooting. I don't know.
He'll take credit for it. Him and Brad Knight.
yeah, no doubt.
I never in my life thought that Brad Knight would just be like a transplant Minnesotan, but he is. He's up there a lot.
Oh yeah. He's got to figure it out.
He does.
That's actually what I want to be when I grow up.
Yes, I want to be BK every day.
He just turkey hunts everywhere all season.
All season, sleeps in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Murders
that's my dream.
From Maine to Florida every year. Yeah. Big K found that there was a direct flight out of Knoxville into Minneapolis on some airline. I can't remember now, for like $60. So he's just up there with Andy.
Yeah.
Anytime he wants to be, man. And he's like, just come on and go, Duncan. Come on and go. I'm like, dude, I can't. I can't. I don't know how you have this schedule.
Yeah. We got all them damn bass tournaments in the way.
Yeah, we got too many damn bass tournaments. All right, man. Real quick, one last thing for you. So, Angler of the Year in 2021, you've made 6 classics. You've got 6 wins, multiple classics. What goal is left for Seth Feider?
Win a classic.
Winning the classic.
Yeah.
That motivates.
That's the biggest thing in bass fishing you can do. Angler of the Year is cool, and I get that it's harder to win an Angler of the Year than a classic just because it's 9 tournaments instead of 1. But I think winning a classic is the coolest thing you can do in bass fishing.
Well, I think it'd be pretty damn cool if you do it up there on Rocky Top.
That'd be a great spot to do it. That's the coolest place to have a classic. Like the fishing isn't the best, but whatever, it's good enough. And as far as like a place for a classic, it's the spot. Like, there's better lakes, but like just the logistics of the whole situation. You know what I mean? You could go to that classic without a car. You could fly into Knoxville and walk to takeoff, walk to the weigh-in, walk to the expo. It's not like, we're fishing a lake 60 miles away from the expo and the weigh-in's 15 minutes from the expo. Like it's all just right there, and it's a cool town. Man. And Tennessee is a cool state. So
amen. Go Vols to that. I'll say that. Yeah. And I'll be there. So just to hoist the trophy, no big deal. So
just piece of cake. Just
a piece of cake. Just go win it. The competition's no big deal this year. There's definitely not. I think
a bunch of chumps.
Yeah, a bunch of chumps. Definitely not one of the most stacked fields I think I've ever seen. Yeah. There's a lot of some of these young guys again, man. I think this field this is going to be one to watch, man. Knoxville, like you said, not always the best fishery, but dude, there's been talk of some big bags coming out of there the last couple of years in the wintertime. So
I seen that Nut kid, he caught like a 9-pounder there pre-practicing, and then Red Wine caught like a 10.5, which I didn't even know like exists. I don't think I've ever seen one over like 6 pounds out of that stretch, but clearly there's some giants in there. So
no doubt,
a guy catches one like that during the tournament, that can really change things up.
Well, I hope it's Seth Feider, dude. I appreciate it. I hope
on
you
a jig.
On a jig. Yes, do that. Do that for us, for the low-lifers. Would love to see it, man. Appreciate you joining me, dude. As always, good luck.
Thanks for having me. Oh, yeah. Appreciate it.
Feider, everybody. Well, that's all she wrote with the amazing Feider man right there, Seth Feider. Always awesome getting his take on everything. I appreciate his time. I appreciate all you low-lifers' time tuning in and checking this out once again. I'm going to take you out with some Biloxi Blues. And next week, I've got something going on all weekend for Rider Man's birthday, going out of town. Next week's show, so on January the 26th, Low Budget Live, actually live. We're going to be actually live on Monday, January the 26th. So look for it on YouTube. If you're one of those folks that likes to listen, like I listen to podcasts, I don't watch a lot of podcasts. I listen. It'll be up that night after we are done. But very special guest that night, January 26th, John me, probably around 6:30 or 7 o'clock. John me. I will see y'all then. Here's some Biloxi Blues. See you. It started all over. I don't know. Normally it starts where, I don't know. It starts where I stopped it, but this time it started all over. So you get to hear the intro again.
Damn these Biloxi Blues. It happens every night. And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine. The summer heat never treats me kind. It leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time.